Yeah, all right, stop there. Today's Sunday, March 31st, 2019, the fourth Sunday of Lent. It's also known as Laetare or Rejoice Sunday. I say it again, rejoice. Even though we're in the midst of a season of penance and season of repentance, we do take the time and recall that we are people who rejoice. We take the word rejoice from the entrance antiphon, which is based on Isaiah 66. Rejoice, Jerusalem, and all who love her. Be joyful, all who are mourning. Exult and be satisfied at her consoling breast. So it was yesterday that Randy came up to me and made a pretty interesting statement about the movie Unplanned. And that's why for today, I think I want to talk a little bit about this movie and find out what people know about it. Now, I personally haven't seen it, but many on the staff have. It's the story of Abby Johnson. Abby Johnson, if you recall, is the Roe of Roe versus Wade. It's clearly a pro-life movie. Of course, the popular media is going to deem it an anti-abortion movie, but if you ask Abby Johnson herself, she's not going to say she's anti-abortion. She will tell you she is pro-life. If I say I am pro-life and I am adamantly pro-life, it's not just the abortion issue. It's all human life that I defend. So of course, all of those who believe that abortion is a good thing are going to be trying to deem this movie as something unacceptable or bad for society. So has it already stirred up some issues and problems? Absolutely. There are TV stations that are refusing to accept paid advertisements to promote the movie.
Unplanned is actually it is a heart-touching movie, and also it is an eye-opener for all.
Well, for a movie that was not promoted at all by any of the secular media for the most part, I have to say it did well in the box office. It was the fourth highest grossing movie this past Friday. Laetare. And for the record, I know it's going to be happening on the internet over and over and over again, the debate between rose versus pink. It's a rose-colored vestment. Good morning. Yesterday, Randy had mentioned something to me, having seen the movie Unplanned, and she talked about people of her generation. Here's what she had to say.
So I just saw the movie Unplanned in theaters, and while I was in the movie, I was thinking this is so sad, but not just the content of it. I was lamenting that people in my generation, and many others for that matter, won't see this movie. And maybe it's because of the topic of abortion that they won't see it, but as I was watching it, and it's based on a true story, so it's not meant to be this super dramatic kind of movie. It's not entertainment. And the thing is, our generation wants to be entertained, and they do not want to be challenged. So I was thinking that even if people were open to the message that the movie had, they won't see it because they want to be entertained. They are not people of conviction. People of conviction have the patience to sit through these things, to pay attention to them, to get something out of them, even if they don't agree with it.
So if you follow Randy's point, what she's saying is that the young people particularly, although I think it's pretty much most generations nowadays, want to be entertained. And when something isn't entertaining for them, they don't pay it very much attention. I want to take it a step further, though. I think what the problem is really going to become is that young people won't even hear about it. People won't even hear about the movie because it doesn't fit the narrative in the culture of death. And not fitting the narrative means they're not going to give us a platform to push this movie. They're not going to give us a platform to allow us to do anything whatsoever to make this message heard. You heard about this movie Unplanned?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing about it.
No advertisements, nothing?
No, nothing.
From the beginning, we know that a movie like Unplanned, a very strong pro-life message, and the story of the conversion of a notorious abortion person is not going to sit well in the narrative of our culture. It's just not going to sit well.
Yes, I've seen some email that I received actually from, I think Randy has been sending a few emails on that. I think I sent at least two, if not maybe three emails that she has sent asking us to see it.
Sure. So what do you know about it?
Not too much, to be honest.
That's
Not
good.
too much.
We know it's not going to sit well because they have done everything since Roe versus Wade to keep abortion not only legal, but to make it on demand up until a moment before the baby would have been born naturally.
So I saw the trailer, I didn't see the movie, but I know it's about Abby Johnson and her conversion of heart. So I know she started working for Planned Parenthood. I think she was one of the leading members, or she had some sort of high-ranking position, and now she's very much pro-life and fights for that movement.
So we know that this does not fit the narrative.
It was a wonderful story about conversion from Abby Johnson, and it was very inspiring and makes you want to do more to help that cause.
So, of course, things that wouldn't fit the narrative here in a Catholic parish, we wouldn't advertise it here. We wouldn't put it in our bulletin. We wouldn't advertise it on our bulletin boards. Certainly, we wouldn't put any advertisements for Planned Parenthood or these places that sell the Plan B pills, the culture of death kind of stuff that's out there. It doesn't belong here. It doesn't fit our narrative. It goes against everything we believe.
It was very touching. Like, I wanted to see it with all 4 of my kids. And I had the opportunity to see it with one, but it just gives you a whole different meaning to what our children should represent to us, the blessing that we have to conceive. And there are other options. You know, I've been very open with even adoption, you know, have the baby. There's so many families out there that would love to have kids and they can't. And it was just very touching. So I recommend it. I give it 10 stars. It's really touching.
The big difference when, say, a Catholic church will not take an ad from a Planned Parenthood on their bulletin, or we won't take ads from those who sell contraceptives and abortifacients, I can understand that because this is now something that's called religious freedom. It's why our country has conscience protection laws. It's why if there's someone who's working in a job and disagrees with the boss is doing, can just not do that part of it. But when it comes to the secular world, that's not a religion. It's not a faith. It's not a belief per se. So what are they invoking when they say they won't take the ad? I am sure that they have given reasons. I'm sure that they've said something. And I'm also sure, too, that those reasons are going to be along the lines of the simple. They're not going to be invoking protection of conscience. They're not going to be invoking it goes against our narrative. They'll probably say something to the effect that it's controversial or it's dangerous or whatever, but they're not going to get into the argument itself and explain why this story of the conversion of Abby Johnson is not appropriate to be advertised on their channel. Have you heard about the movie Unplanned?
Unplanned? No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's what I figured. It was only the 4th top grossing movie this weekend. Did you know that?
Unplanned? No, I did not know that.
I think it's time that many of the Catholics wake up to the reality that abortion is the killing of an innocent human being. We can't just stand idly by any longer and keep allowing this culture to silence our voices. We have to do more. We have to pray more. We have to take these public stands more and more. Today, more than ever, my dear Catholics, my dear Christians, those who believe in God, it is time for us to start saying there's something very, very, very wrong in our culture. Of course, many who are going to see the movie are already pro-life individuals. I'm pretty sure of that. But those who do see the movie, I think if they actually are engaged by it, are going to be moved by the story. We all love a good conversion story, and Abby Johnson's story is very compelling. All right, today is Nicole's birthday, and I know, Nicole, you don't really want to be on camera, but I got to wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday, kid.
Hi, Father Peter. Always I keep in touch with you, watching your videos, because I love watching those videos.
Hello.
Good morning.
Has growing capacity and it just appears in your
I saw the message was like, she keeps